Hello, 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 hello. Where does this record to? P9. Okay, cool. Cool. Hello, Jam Nation. Overlay took a little while to catch up and got just suddenly loads at once. Hello, Zeathus. Hello, Salil. Hello, everybody. YouTube folk are so fast, man. Lazy Eye. Hello, Lazy Eye. Just gonna put some links on a thing. Hey, Flambermember. You are here quick. Hello, Don Papajo. Hello, Speezy61. Hello, Bokaj16. Hello, Acid Pop. Hello, 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 hello. Good to see you all. Hello, Scott Pilgrim. Hello, unknown account. Hello, Zeathus, and goodbye, Zeathus. These things happen, man. These things happen. Hey, Dunjail. Hey, Sanjeev Krishna. Hello. Oh, I already said hello to you, but hello again, Don Papajo. Hello, Mahal. I can't pronounce that, but hello, you. You know who you are. So, what I'm doing today. Well, I say today, in the current space of time, is, well, immediately thinking about how my purple and red actually look very close to one another on the overlay. I feel like I should do something. Oh, I kind of did by actually writing Twitch or YouTube next to it, so I suppose it's fairly clear. But I want that icon to be better in future. But anyway, can I make more GMS2 tutorials? Yes, I can, and I will in the near future. I guess, like, a few of you, I don't know, people who follow my work closely, if you do, will notice I've not really been doing tutorial videos the last couple of weeks. I mean, I've spoken about this, and I've spoken about why a few times. But I'm working on Pokepoke because I'm taking this game to a festival next week, and oh gosh, there is a lot to do on it. Luckily for me, I'm not really taking it there in the mindset of marketing it, because it is like miles away from being at a point where I can, well, not in a serious way anyway, because like it's not at that point, you know, it's still very early days, it's still very much a prototype, so really taking it there more than anything as like an extended play test, and finally getting it in front of lots of people, and probably just realizing how rubbish it is and everything I need to do to change it. So that's what I'm working towards, but I still want it to be good, you know, I want it to be fun for people to play then, so I want to get it as nice and polished as possible. Mostly the player and the player controls, like I'm trying to get that as refined as possible, and just, you know, or just those, well, I say the player controls, the 3 C's really, which is player controls, character, controls, camera, right? Is character one of them? I know it's controls and camera. Character, see, I don't know what I'm doing. I think it's that, character controls camera, right? The 3 C's. So yeah, I want to make sure that stuff is really tightly nailed down, as much as I can, and I'll be going back, I'll be taking plenty of notes, and I'll still be working on that stuff after Norwich, but I want to make sure that it's as good as it can be. And so today, what I'm going to be doing in here as part of that is we're going to be looking at making a system whereby the player, actually, before I do this, what I'm going to do is, because I've noticed, because I guess what I've been saying about how I'm trying to do streams with like a specific topic in mind, so that they're kind of a bit more watchable after the fact, is instead of actually just putting this footage out there now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit start recording, and I'm going to just record from a section, because I tried to do it where I just trimmed up to a point, but YouTube's trimming tool is awful. Show current result. Yeah, I can show off the game. What's in it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit start recording and just like get another piece of footage and upload that, which means you won't get the cool like live chat replay on the side on YouTube, but I've got the overlay down there anyway, so you can see the chat and you can see who was here and all that kind of thing. So I can just kind of do it manually that way. It's a bit of a pain because it means I actually have to record it and store the footage and all that jazz. But it should be alright. That's how I'm going to try and do it now. I've been doing a lot of experimenting with that kind of thing, and as I say, a lot like once Norwich is out of the way, which is next week, that when I get back from that, I'll be doing a video tutorial the week after I get back. Then the week after that, I'm going on holiday with my family for like a week. Then when I get back from that, we'll be doing a lot more video tutorials. Again, like just straight up regular ones. I'll still be doing like live stream now and again, but I'm gonna give priority to doing just straight up videos again for a while, just to get some more done, because it's like there's obviously been a big gap in me doing that kind of thing, which has just been a necessary part of having to work on this and experiment a little bit. So we've got like a little landing animation now, that Inksplat put together. It's pretty cool, and I put some sort of dust and stuff in the game as well. Just sort of, you know, make that like the jumping and landing just feel a little bit better. It just sort of cancels out of that animation if you're running, so you don't see it if you're running along. But if you land like idly like that, you do a little squash, which is cool. Is this a Metroidvania? No, not really. It doesn't. It has some elements that are similar to, you know, Metroid and Castlevania, in that it's a fixed world platform thing. But I don't know, it's closer to like a sort of like large world Mega Man type thing, I guess. And it doesn't have the same sort of like gated power up mechanic, or at least not in its current sort of design. At the moment I've got this. This is just the jump I was testing, and I put a GIF of it on Twitter a minute ago. Whoa! Look how godlike I am. Well, yeah, you have to do that. And it's pretty tough. And then, well, oh, there's nothing over here. This is just sort of an area I wanted you to be able to like see from the, and this doesn't even lead anywhere either. This just sort of leads off into the distance. And I've broken my level design rule here of like having the floor that close to the bottom of the camera. But this area isn't even done anyway. So that's kind of what. Well, that isn't really a good representation of what's here so far. Let's delete this, this. This is my rambling intro for you guys, but we'll I'm gonna like do a start recording thing. Hopefully, anyway. I don't know if it's gonna overload my encoding and that kind of thing. Maybe I just use this footage. I don't know, but my plan is to like start a thing and be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, and then I can be a bit more focused. So I'm getting all the nonsense intro-y stuff out of the way now. So if I go here and I just stick the player in here, is where I'm gonna start you for the actual intro. A lot of kind of refining going on with this because it's not perfect yet either. And I don't even know if I'm going to have this whole bit of level design in the thing I take to Norwich. I might tend to just do an area that's more of a snapshot of what the main game is going to be like. But still, it's good to be able to playtest this as well. So I kind of want to include this if I can. You got this, and these rocks that you can stand on, and they kind of crumble away underneath. You come through here, and there's like this area up here that you can kind of be like, oh, I wonder how you get up there. And then you come into here, and you come over the top of this thing. There's like a button over here and a door that you can't get through, with nowhere else to go. And with you knowing how this works before, because you've stood on it at the start, you can come over here and you can fall down into this little pit, and then you're down in this pit, and you can try and make this jump, but it's a bit too far away, so you can't really do that. You come over here, and there's sort of another little area that you think, wow, how did you get to there? Fall down here. You can see the star over here as well, that you can't reach yet. Obviously, it's just behind a big rock wall. And you come through here, and there's a spear lodged in the wall over there. I think I want to work on this jump as well, make this better, because I think it's a bit too precise. It's not too bad. I mean, you've got a good, like, 30 pixel to give that, but, like, I really don't want to have any challenging jumps before you even pick up the spear. Oh, well, I don't know. I want to avoid it, largely. Then you got a spear, and when you take that out of that button, you can put it back on the button if you really want, it closes this door behind you, so then you can't get back through this door. So then you've got to kind of learn how to use the spear, which you can use to climb. Will I change the background? Hopefully before March, but I'm fully prepared for the case in which I don't get a background done as well. As I say, it is a prototype. I might just use the sky background that I use for the jam, or I also might use. I kind of want to do like a cave background and stuff for this bit. So if you want, you can also do this kind of thing to get over here, or you can even do the really fancy thing. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do this in the actual thing, because I think I'm going to be turning throw off for this point, but yeah, when you throw the spear, you can actually land on it and do a big super jump like that, so that's another way to get up there. You can come through here and you can get the star. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a low frame rate at the moment with this recording. I want to see if I might just be running too many things, but it makes me worry a bit for when I start actually wanting to record, because then that's going to obviously add more to that. I do know Celeste, yes. I started work on this game a long time before Celeste was like even on my radar in any capacity, but I have now played Celeste and really like it. I'm taking a few things of inspiration from that, but a lot of the things you might assume were inspired by Celeste actually weren't. I'm wondering, do you keep tutorials really simple for the sake of making them? Because I feel like jump buffering should be important to put in those, or reference. I've done stuff on jump buffers before, like even in my complete platform or tutorial, like part, I don't know, either the last part or the part before it, like part 18, part 19 or something, covers like doing a jump buffer, and so making it so like when you walk off the edge, like it's in this, like when you walk off an edge, you can still jump for a bit, and that kind of thing. I do cover that stuff. I don't cover it in the most basic stuff where you're just trying to get something up and running, but I do cover that stuff. I keep tutorials focused, so like there's a goal for the video, and there's a goal for the video, and we accomplish that goal, you know. Well, I mean, well, obviously not, because you can't put all the code for a player in one video. Anyway, so you come up to here and you can and you've got you hopefully remember what the button looked like that you pulled the spear out of in the first place, and there's one up here that looks very much the same. I want to give you some sort of tutorial thing that's like, you just button to throw thing, and then you can hold a button on the right mouse button and throw the thing. So the thing opens this door, which looks very much the same, or will look the same. So these don't even have artwork yet. There's the doors that oh crap, that you opened that closed on you when you took the spear out. How have I solved for controllers? Don't have a controller in hand. I should get one really. I should be playing it more on controller, because that's what people are whoa, that focus. That's more what people are going to be playing on at Norwich, so I should probably be testing that more. But I am getting there with the control scheme for a controller. This is going to be like a whole bit where I haven't put the proper camera thing in here to let that be a proper vertical climb yet, but we're going to do like a vertical climby bit here when you come into this. And that's really all there is so far. You can't get back out of here because there's no button. It's tempting to put one in there. I might do. One on each side kind of thing. wonder how that'll work. Like, I can just copy and paste that and it'll have the same enable group. I wonder if they'll both glow blue. I think they should, based on how I remember them working. So yeah, what we're going to do today, and I'll talk about it again in a second, is make like a respawning thing. Rain world. The spear mechanics. I've not seen this guy. Oh, I've seen some gifs of this floating around, I think. I didn't know that had a spear of any kind in it. Does it? No, the character is holding like a spear. Oh, I want to look into this now. It can't be too similar, I hope. Rain World launch trailer. Or if it is similar, who cares? You know, let's just take some inspiration and make things even better. What is this? This looks cool.
What fate must one pray?
I've seen bits of this.
As the old world died, a new ecosystem evolves.
Mostly on the character like dying a horrible death and lots of fun, interesting ways over Twitter. No, it doesn't have a spear in this though, or at least not in the launch trailer. Oh, he's carrying a thing now? What's it? He doesn't... No part of him does anything with it, unless it's like a throwaway mechanic or like a exotic gameplay thing in this. Nomadic slug cat. Oh, I don't know. I want to, because if anything has another spear mechanic, I want to see it so I can see how they handled certain things, because it'll help if I see other people dealing with it. No Venom Mente. I will not be doing that. How to play? Oh right, okay. Hello, Camille. I see. Okay, anyway, what was I saying? I want to just hit start recording, just to experiment with it for a minute in the stream and just see if it breaks everything. Even this is starting to... what? No, encoding overcoded. Why? Why can't my computer used to be able to handle recording and streaming at the same time, and nowadays it just can't. What? I mean, I do have a loss. I think it's mostly a CPU bottleneck right now, though, at least, instead of the stupid disk thing I've been having issues with the last few days. Let's close down some stuff. Maybe I can get it going okay. Got Galaxy. I don't need you. I don't really need Steam to be running either. Just click Discord. You. It might be just like the... I don't think the setting... I mean, it is 60 FPS and that, but the thing is, the only way for me to change these things now is like stop and stop streaming again is the problem with this, the changing video. So I can change the bitrate. I can just change the bitrate on the fly. I didn't know that was a thing. Oh, I can change the settings for recording, apparently. Cool. Let's change you to like just a lower bitrate for recording. I mean that's fine. I don't really care too much. The quality for the recorded stream doesn't have to be super great. Stream. Profile very fast. Good. I think YouTube yells at you if your bitrate is lower than like 6,000 or something. It's like, what? It's never been a reasonable value for me. Let's turn it down a bit on stream. And is GameMaker 2 is using not too much CPU actually. Again, system is just using a lot. It's really hard to know like what or why. It's just the process of running Windows 10 is eating a lot of CPU. Firefox is using a bunch too. I do have like the dashboard windows, like having two of them is kind of a bit mad, I guess. Now let's pause the video playback at least on them, so that they're not. There we go. Might make things a little easier. Let's I don't like closing it because I like to know if I'm still. Screw it, let's close the whole thing. Like I don't think I need the dashboard open for the stream. Yeah, that's fine. And I can still see everything from my combined restream chat window. So I think it'll work okay like that. Let's hit start recording again. Not sure if it's feeling it. Feels better than before. But even the overlay looks like it's struggling. I might just end up trimming it in YouTube again if we have to do that, but YouTube's trimmer is so bad. Who came up with alt insert for that? Yeah, what? Yeah, it's no good. It's no good. Stop recording. It's not the GMS game being demanding, it's OBS being demanding. It depends what your shader is doing. Oh, look, this is pretty clean now. I've stopped taxing OBS like loads. Anyway. Yeah, OBS is tanking a lot of processor time, CPU 30%. I suppose I could watch what happens when I hit start recording. It goes from 30% to 40 to 65. Yeah, so it doubles. I swear I don't know where OBS has gotten worse or something, but I swear I used to be able to do that just fine. Like I used to do that for entire Ludum Dares. Like I used to record the entire thing on OBS as well as streaming it, and it was just fine. I recorded the entire thing and then I used that footage to make time lapse. I can't seem to do that anymore because I don't seem to have the performance anymore. It might just be down to my OBS settings being completely out, but as far as I can see, everything is set to be like as zoom as possible. Which frankly weirds me out. It might be the renderer, maybe I just need to change a whole bunch of stuff in it. We'll look into it. But for now, I think I'm just going to use the basic trimmer, which is annoying because it's really imprecise, so I'll start the video on YouTube will start with me in a random piece of dialogue. A random sentence rather. And oh well. So we'll start. Unless oh, hello cat. Well, the cat just like pushes the door open, but the door kind of like moves on its own a bit afterwards, like with the momentum, obviously. And then she's coming like lied on the floor, scratching a scratching post, and then the door is like hit the wall from when she opened it, made a little dumph noise, and she just turned around like whoa, and freaked herself out. Shadowplay might do that, I don't know. Okay, so let's go from here-ish, vaguely, okay? So what we're going to be doing today, as I've said before, but I'm going to be saying again, for the benefit of people watching the VOD, is we're going to be making a system whereby, at the moment, while a character dies, it just restarts the entire room and shifts us to wherever. In the Jam version of the game, I had checkpoints that were around the place, so we're not going to do checkpoints this time. What we're going to do instead is dynamically work out the last safe spot we were standing, and just save there, with the facility to create exceptions to that rule in places we just never want to save. So areas that we can just mark as unsafe. Say we had like a chase sequence or whatever, and there's a bit, yeah, sure, you're safe on the ground here at one point, but when a thing happens, that's, you know, we want areas where we don't want to be able to save it. It's not dissimilar to like how Dark Souls works, not in terms of save where you actually respawn, but in terms of where it will put your souls when you die. I can see the chat, but you know I can't spend all of my time reading it or responding to it, but I can. I mean, it's just literally right there. So yeah, it's similar to that sort of thing. Dark Souls are spawning, kind of, I guess, and I mean, not in the way people usually use that kind of misrepresented turn of phrase. Anyway, so how we're going to do this is pretty much as I put on here. Oh, that's the wrong thing. I think that's a script for one of my videos. Oh no, that's a thing for how the collision grid was going to work in my refactor. Is we're going to do it like this. So we're going to check to see if the player is on solid ground, or if we're in a free state, we have control over the player, and that position hasn't been marked as unsafe. We'll do that bit last because, you know, in terms of getting it working, this is the important stuff. And whenever that is true, just on every frame, we're going to mark that position as global respawn X and respawn Y. I don't know if long term I'll want to do it on every frame, or maybe I'll do it every few frames, but then you get positions, things like, oh, maybe you landed and you jumped kind of thing, and like, well, you could have saved on the thing, and the player might not be able to predict the behavior. So, I mean, if I can get away with doing this without actually putting any feedback into where you've saved, that would be great, but I'm as cool as wow, you think I'm so cool that it broke my chat overlay. Nice one. Yeah. So we'll start a position every frame, and we'll rock it like that for now, and we'll build on it from there. I wonder what it's going to be like in terms of, like, you know, like story. It's always going to like story position right in an edge if you do like a long jump or that kind of thing. But we'll see. This is how we're going to build it to start with. I don't know how it's necessarily going to work out. That's the fun of these streams. And then it's something we're going to build on and iterate as we go forward. It might turn out that I build this in and it's a terrible idea from the get-go, but this is kind of how I want it to work. Glad I could help, Captain Crapper. Captain Crapper 69. What a name. Glad I could help. So let's get to this. So all I really need to do at the moment, when you hit a spike, we like go into a death state or whatever. I have like a player kill thing, and that's fine for right now. What we're gonna do first is just get the saving of positions in, and on restarting the room, we're gonna just shunt the player back to the global that we set. first of all, I want to establish those globals, which is an interesting question to have, because we want to know if, I mean, long term, at the moment I'm kind of working on the assumption that the whole game is one room, but I don't, I want to retain the ability to move between rooms, so we have to bear in mind that if you've got, you need a set of coordinates to start with, and if I set them in like the create event, obviously that's just going to overwrite whatever I set last time, right? And if I do them in the room start event, the same thing kind of happens when we do room restart. So there's a question of how I deal with the original one, but I think I'm just going to let the player land and then calculate from there. I don't think that's going to be any problem, and we'll set it in the in O game, you know, sort of main game thing when we create this for the first time. So is this, yeah, it is a persistent object, isn't it? And we create O game in it, is that right? So yeah. Do I have like an initialized script or anything like that? I don't think I do. I think it's just everything that runs in here. So globals. So I'm going to do global dot respawn x equals 0 equals 0. And yeah, I think whenever I actually do a transition between rooms, before starting the next room, I should change the respawn x, y, and then I can set it, and then the player can set it itself in the room that we actually go to. I think that's how we answer that question. So respawn x is respawn y, and that's, so if those are at 0, then we want to set them in the player as part of the state machine for the player. The players, which is the step event for the player. Let's F12 this so we can see a bit more of it. And if the player is in the free state, that means that's the state in which we're just sort of walking around and jumping and that kind of thing. We do player move, which is, it's very tempting for me to put this bit inside the player move script, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the movement, and we get all the variables as local, as instance vars anyway. I think I'm going to do it outside of this. I think it's kind of related to movement in terms of like your position and stuff like that, but yeah, I think I want to do it outside. I might change my mind later, such is life. If grounded full. What's interesting is I could do it like on landing. So every time you land somewhere, rather than like updating its position every frame, you know, could create situations where if you just walk for a really long time, it might be interesting. No, I'm gonna, well, for now at least, I'm gonna go with this if grounded full. So grounded full is we have a variable called grounded that's in here, which checks our middle center against sort of the tile one below the bottom center of the hitbox, against sort of the tile 1 pixel below it to check if we're standing on the floor. And then we have grounded full, which does that, but also takes into account a lot of other things, so blocks and so on. The reason there's 2 separate ones is because grounded were that middle central point was the one point we needed to deal with sort of slope movement and stuff, which actually isn't in this anymore, but it's built off of that engine. Technically can handle slopes, even though it doesn't, because there aren't any. So that's why we have grounded and grounded full. Grounded full takes the whole thing into account. So if grounded full, which means in some way either in the bottom corner, either bottom corner or the middle point on a tile, or we're on top of a block object, we are stood on solid ground, right? Which is interesting because I don't want to use it with moving blocks, because this is going to like save the position on if I'm stood on a door and the door is like moving up as well. So that's an interesting thing to bear in mind. Making it very tempting for me to actually just check the grounded. I'm going to go with that for now. I suspect it might be better because that's just checking the tile and it's not checking either corner, so if we're leaning off of an edge it doesn't really count. Making you sleepy. The Bob Ross of game development. Gosh. Timer set spawn. I don't. Well, so there is a game that actually sort of does that. They Bleed Pixels, whereby like you stand still for a certain time and you can see there's like a whole feedback around it. And you save. You save by like standing still for a moment in time, which costs you like time. So if you're trying to do like a speedrun on a level, you obviously don't have time to save, and it's interesting. I didn't want that juxtaposition in this game. So like making you stop to save isn't. It could be an interesting thing, but I haven't decided that I necessarily want it that way. So this would work with that either way. Like it would be very easy to modify that into how this works. But for now, I'm just going to do it so it just saves it every time, and we're going to iterate from that. Okie doke. So if we are grounded, we want to check. What were the other things I wanted to check? We wanted to check if we're grounded. We're in the free state, which we know because we are in the state machine in the free state. The player has control. Oh, interestingly, I'm just realizing here we're not necessarily in the free state anymore because we've done movement. So we could actually be in the jump state. Because we've just done movement. So we could actually now be airborne and that kind of thing. When do I check? Because I check grounded here. You can actually be grounded even though you've just jumped, because we check grounded first. Which is interesting. How does that not screw up my animations? Just thinking about that. I mean, it doesn't. So let me just. Because we check grounded and then we do movement stuff as the thing. Oh, but we set it, don't we? I think that's how it works. So we just. Because we know if we jump, we're turning grounded off for a frame, right? So I have to remember how my own code works and you have to when it gets this big, you know. It can take you a minute sometimes to be like, how did that actually work again? So if we're on the ground, jumping above, yeah, you do that. If you jump, yeah, and then we just set grounded to be false. Interestingly, we're not setting grounded full to be false in here. That's very interesting. I feel like we should be doing. I'm going to change that and see if it affects anything. Because you absolutely, and I'll probably have to change this one as well. But just first of all that. Because in theory, I might have just been doing that, and I might have just been, it would be hard to notice. I might have just been a frame late on setting some of those animations. Yeah. I think that's actually Oh, that should work. I think I've just never noticed any problem with it. So that'll set that accordingly. So if grounded will be accurate at this point. Will we definitely be in this state at that point in time? We will, yes, because the lance will run separately. Like, even if the lance runs before or the lance runs after, I'm actually not sure which order it runs in. It won't matter, but we'll still definitely be in the state when we get to this point, because it doesn't change in here. I don't think anything can change it in here. No. Good. So, if nothing can change it in here, we know we're in the state, we know we're grounded. Next thing is, do we have control? So, I think I have a variable set for this already. Oh, it has control equal true. So what I can do is, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing a stream on respawning.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Has she been found?
No, she has not.
I will explain the noise. See you later.
Thank you. You don't like the colour of the what? I've no idea what you're talking about, unfortunately. Please make a platforming game using Delta Time. What's everyone's obsession with Delta Time recently? I mean, to be fair, a lot of people have already done that as a thing. Like, I do get asked about it a lot, but those tutorials are out there. I'm pretty sure you Google just like platform example, Delta Time, you'll find examples. They're very similar to like how I've done platformers, but just using that kind of fixed time step stuff. So it's out there. You can hunt it down. I could cover it myself somewhat, but I don't really know much about doing that kind of stuff super well, because I've just never needed to. I've completely forgot what I was doing now. Sorry, I've got a sidetrack. So ground which we want to check and has control thing for that. Then if this is actually the case, I think that's everything we need to work out. So we just check those things, and also the position is not marked unsafe. But we don't have the facility to check that yet, so. Or rather, it is safe to avoid the somewhat pseudo double negative. I feel like I'm probably not qualified to answer the question on Star Homer. You get a lot of people in game dev who keep telling you that you absolutely have to do it. And like, don't tie anything to frame rates. Oh god, it's bad. And there are certain bad things that can come about by tying things to frame rate. And I think the issue is just that if you run into those things, it can be hard later in development to then dig all your logic back out and build it for Delta Time. But honestly, if you know what you're doing from the start, you can kind of work out whether or not it really matters if you tie a thing to a frame rate, yeah, it's not always super necessary. People like to look into Delta Time to solve lag solve lag issues, but like, I think one of the biggest complaints with it is like if your game starts to lag in like GameMaker and you've tied everything to the frame rate, then everything actually starts to move slower on screen because it has to wait for each frame to work everything out. Whereas you calculate everything on delta time, it calculates it on the time that's passed. So like you still move at the same amount. You just sort of move choppily. But I prefer it to just slow down the game. Maybe that makes me weird. And also if it's slowing down, I mean maybe this makes me a naive optimist, but I just think, well, like how do I just make it go faster? You know, you know. So both of those complaints to me are just like, really? It's useful for certain other things though, in terms of like if you're creating like a slow effect or something like that. But even then, just doing delta time doesn't solve all those problems for you. And I have a time slow effect that I've just kind of done a bit manually, which might come to bite me in the ass, but it's a small part of the game, I hope. Anyway, again, I get sidetracked a lot on these kind of things, but granted, we have control. So global dot respawn x. This is where it turns out I could have written this in like 2 seconds, but I've just spent ages talking nonsense. Global respawn x equals x. Global dot respawn y equals y. Do I need to do anything? Do I need to do anything else? Am I just set those every frame and then? I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, just mark that position as global respawn x respawn y, and that's fine. Then when the player dies, which I think is in kind of outside room at the moment, if the state plays say death without cutscenes, alright, go to 1, cool. Do I want to do it in a cutscene? Oh, there's a fake restart, right? Oh, I didn't realize I was still doing the fake restart. I thought I was actually restarting the game. Let's carry on with the fake restart then, actually. So how this works, this is how I built it in the jam. I thought I'd like undid it at one point because it seemed like I was properly restarting the room, but I'm not. I'm still just doing a fake restart. Which is actually good. It makes things a bit easier, and I can not have to deal with things like not knowing exactly what room restart does and dealing with room start events and things like that. So x can equal global dot player respawn x y. Lance is irrelevant because it auto fixes itself. Camera. Camera needs to go to the same position, I think. Visible becomes true. That's a point. When I restart with the R button, I feel like I'm not. Yeah, I'm getting a room restart instead. So that's actually, because that's creating some weird little bugs. So let's not do a straight room restart. Let's actually do a cutscene restart in that case. Well, I've been using it for debug, so I could do it really much faster. No, let's do it properly. So let's player. When they die, we do this. When we press restart, go-to should really be an enum here, I think, so I can actually tell what on earth it's doing rather than just being a 1 through X. I'll add that to my ever-growing refactor list. Cutscene go-to should be an enum. Am I going to sell this game? Eventually, yes. That's the plan. Yeah, let's chill with the emote waves for no reason. Belon's at VZ. I'm not sure what the crack is there, but let's maybe chill. That triggers a fake restart. And a fake restart does these things. We just set that camera there. I think we're going to have to do something else with the camera as well, because of the way the camera works on a grid, because otherwise it's going to center it on the player and then adjust to the grid that it's in. It's art, unconvinced. Let's just see how it happens at the moment before I overthink a thing that I don't know is working in the first place. So I think that should be setting every frame now. Every frame that we're on the floor, we should be changing those variables. So if I do something that gets it's actually quite a long journey to do a thing that gets me killed thinking about it, but hey, we have to kind of, every time I get to sort of run through this is good. Hey DeVils, how you doing? It's quite cool seeing the Restream IO gang my Twitch emote. Do you know why games made in 8.1 run really fast in Windows? No idea. I'm unaware of such a bug. So there are certain areas I'm definitely going to want to mark unsafe, such as automatically marking unsafe any like door location. Calling cat, thank you. I think you're one of the first people actually to notice that, or at least to draw attention to it. The new character. I really like the falling animation. Like it just looks really good with the like the spear when it's poking out somewhere. It does look good. I didn't make it as well. It's more of Inksplat's work. So yeah, if I die there, that's going to be the worst example. But if I die here, yeah, there we go. A lot less Celeste. Good. I mean, still looks very Celeste when she dies and when she does a spin jump, because we don't have new sprites for that yet. She keeps running when, because we don't have any other particular animation yet for like hanging from the wall. Still yet to work out exactly what we want for that, and I don't want it to be too static. Like when I did it before, like I tried it with just like the hang or the fall animation or something like that, and it I don't know, just the thing that looked the best from the animations we had when I was doing the jam was just doing the running thing, where it looks like she's just sort of like, you know, like dangling almost. But we haven't quite solved exactly what we want it to look like when she's hanging from a rock. But anyway, as you can see, the whole position saving thing is working pretty well. That's saving the last position where we were stood. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't, because it's like it knows that we're grounded, it knows that we're in the free state. we're definitely grounded position because if we have jumped or if we have started falling in any way, we wouldn't be grounded by the time we got to it. I think that's pretty safe. See, if you run off that way, it respawns you. It's a little bit weird because it's like right on the edge. I think I'm okay. I think I'm largely okay with that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm probably not gonna have this kind of like cutscene out thing when you die as well, like doing that like black. I'm probably gonna do something a bit more dynamic, like I don't know, just like warp you back to that position or something like that, and just sort of you can just sort of keep going in that way. But I haven't quite decided yet. One thing. Oh, R doesn't actually do anything now. Just noticed. Why is that? I think I'm gonna put it back to game restart either way. But key press R trigger fake restart within 15. Huh. That's weird. Oh, I think when death happens it. Oh no, okay, that's just, yeah, that's the final, that's when you're outside the room. The cutscene had started way before then, so I'm probably withing an object that doesn't exist when I'm doing it that way. Again, forgetting how my own stuff works. Anyway, I'm just going to put it back to being a hard restart. The whole game, let's not do room restart, let's actually do a full-on game restart. Possibly yes, Caliber, but I want to keep it as simple as possible for now because it's hard to write rules like that that don't accidentally have weird edge case consequences. Not that that necessarily would, but yeah, it's just, for now it's fine, I think. Yeah, there are potential ways to make it better, but they need thinking through very carefully, I think. So one thing I want to test now is I'll bring you up here, give you a freelance. I want to know what happens just when, well, I think I know what's going to happen and it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh yeah, because it might have still, because it's a fake restart, so it might have still been closing at the time it spawned, and now it's just actually closed. So now I'm spawning in the door. This obviously not a very safe position to be spawned in or to save yourself in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new tile layer that's basically just going to be a Boolean tile layer. She's doing just fine. And I'm glad my videos helped you. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I think, I feel weird whenever I create a tile layer that's like just got like one tile in it, but nonetheless that's basically what I'm going to do. Let's duplicate you, edit. Actually, I can just use the brush, yeah. Wrong layer. There we go. why did I get rid of that? There we go. Forgetting how to work with layers. What did I usually? No. Oh, what even was that then? There we go. Why does it just change my tool? I want M. Oh my god! What's the point in having that react to buttons if those buttons can also give you a shortcut and take away the tool entirely? Let's scroll to it then, I guess. Anti-alias off. There we go. What am I doing? I'm marking areas of the game world as unsafe to create a respawn position. How can I make a game? Get a copy of GameMaker or some other cool tool and watch some videos or read some articles. Get started. Is this Poke? It is Poke. Tile. In theory, we could make this a different size tile grid, and we could like make it much more precise and stuff like that, and make it so like. Am I using grounded or ground? I think I'm just using grounded as well on iron thingy, so that should stop me standing too far off a ledge. And grounded full. I think I was definitely right to do that instead of grounded full. Yeah, that's good. I'm just wondering like whether I should just mark every edge as like a thing, but no, I don't think that's a good idea. T safe. And on arch, let's create new tile layer. Yeah, below the grid mask, above everything else. We're just gonna like make it invisible anyway. We're basically gonna do this kind of thing, but I'm not gonna paint it manually like that. We're gonna get the objects to do it themselves. So mark unsafe. Make a script of the same name. Now I want to get all the tiles that that's covering somehow, and mark them all out. How am I going to do this? I feel like I'm going to have to do some awkward long for loop. Just trying to think of a really quick way of just getting all those tiles. How did the idea of Pokebot come to me in the first place? There was a game jam, GM48. I had to make a game in 48 hours, and the theme was one tool, many uses. I was trying to think of something that involved a mechanic that could be used in where you do the same like input and the same thing to achieve lots of different goals. And I came up with the idea of just like, well, maybe you have an actual specific tool that does that thing, and I It's just like, well, maybe a spear, maybe it can, you can poke the, maybe you can climb with it and do other things, and just it just sort of happened like that, and just sort of grew from there. No idea is unique anyway. It's all just, no idea is unique because it doesn't matter. Like, the thing is with games, and well, the thing is with any creative medium, when you do a thing that you think is unique, the difference, the marked difference between something that people consider to be unique or original and something people consider to be unoriginal is if your idea is inspired by something of that same genre, or of that same medium rather. So if you have a game that looks like another game and was inspired directly from that game, people are like, oh, that is unoriginal. Whereas if you have a game that has come from, and the idea has come from some sort of life experience or something like that, then suddenly that's like super original. But the idea is always going to come from somewhere. The thing with creativity and stuff in general is no idea just forms itself. Ideas don't just like that. They have all come from, even if you don't know where that somewhere is, they've all come from somewhere. So the key thing is, like, things can still feel more original than others, and the basis is like whether or not you're taking all your inspiration from one thing, or you're doing the ideal thing, which is taking inspiration from lots of things that combine to create something that is unique to a pile of experiences that only you have really had. But nonetheless, the working is there all the same, that every idea comes from something else. So it's not just that the age-old thing of like, oh, no idea is, you know, everything's been done before, no idea is definitely original. It's not just because everything's been done before, it's because it is literally impossible to have truly original creative thought. Because everything comes from somewhere. That's how you combine those things in interesting ways. That is what originality means in any meaningful sense. Anyway, so what are we marking on save now? We're gonna take the. I don't still work at Yo-Yo Games, no. Mojo Place, I left there a very long time ago now. I just noticed in my overlay actually that people are drawing below the Patreon credit thing, which kind of looks a bit weird. I should probably sort that layering out at some point when I next work on the overlay. Hi Banica, dynamic respawn is a respawn in a sense that we don't have checkpoints as such, but we dynamically work out where the player was last in a safe, happy position, and that's where we decide to respawn them when you die. B-box right minus left will give you a positive number of pixels that are spanned, and we can work out from that how many tiles are covered by divvying it with tile size. So if it's 34, then we could exactly one tile, right, well, it needs to be that plus 1, right? Or it can just be that, because if we for loop it, then it's going to start at that anyway. Bottom minus top. No, I won't, Elliot. Chill, because it's part of an ongoing project, unfortunately. That's the problem with these live stream ones. I can't really offer that stuff in the same way as my actual tutorials. Okay. So that gives me like 0 through... Well, if I keep this layer on, I'll be able to see if it's doing it right, I guess. So... layer... D, D, global dot lay map safety equals layer tile map get ID. I don't believe I should just do that in rather than do that in there, just do that in the things that do it. Yeah, because I'm never really going to do this as a... Yeah, I can just do it like that. So that gets me the map, and then tile map set, map safety, tile data. I felt like when I did it a while ago, it's not been like this way since, but when I did some tile stuff a while ago, there was a thing I had to do when I set things. I had to then like update the tile map afterwards or something. I might be thinking of something else. I just want to check. No, I don't know. I must be thinking of something else. I don't know. I'm gonna brain fart. So, oh, thank you very much, RO Games. Hello, Bowsers, welcome back, and hello, Spenman. Data 1, yeah, sell. Right, so for equals 0. Call less than or equal to columns call plus plus. And that should be for every column. For every row. Oh, that's gonna be its own row and rows. It was a 3-letter thing. Well, whatever. Done it now. So. What's div? Divided by, yeah, divided by into whole numbers. So if you take 34 and div it with 32, you get 1, because 32 goes into 34 once. It divs it as an integer, so rather than like dividing 10 by... I'm trying to think of maths I could do easily. Rather than dividing 20 by 15 and getting... getting like 0.75, right? No, 1.25. I can't maths, man. I hate division so much. Rather than getting the integer, you what am I doing? Why can't I maths? 1.1 and a third, of course, right? Rather than getting that, you just get 1 because 15 only goes into it once. For some reason recently, my head just cannot handle really basic division. I just cannot do it. I don't know why. Not like actual division into integers anyway. I can do, my brain can do div. I can do div. I can't do proper division. But rather than rather than getting that, you would just get 1 because 15 goes into it once. So it gives you it in integers, which can be useful when you're doing things with tiles and stuff, and you're just trying to work out like what's the top left coordinate of this tile. Well, I'm at position 65, div that by 32, which is my tile size, gives me 2, so 2 times 32, I'm at 64, you know, that kind of thing. Which is the same sort of thing you can also use mod for to do that even quicker without having to multiply it again. But tile map set. Current call times oh wait, no, what LT equals L I'll just do mod 32. No, I want div 32 because I need to set the actual file, yeah. So it's LT plus the column we're on. And then it's TT plus the row that we're on. I think that might just be it, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh yeah, and that shouldn't be 32, that should be... so that's worked a bit. It's not got the it's not got this column though. Why would that be? Does actually need to be +1 then, doesn't it? Because like if it's below 32, so like yeah, 200 minus 210 minus 200 is 10 pixels. Div tile size gives you 0. From 0 if it's less than or equal to 0, and it does 1 column, right? So it does need to be this +1. So we always do one column. Wait, no, what? Because it's always going to do one column anyway. How do we make it? I think I'm working this out entirely wrong. So, just trying to think if and it's like, how do we work out how many columns this is? I think I just have to, instead do that there and work out everything. So var bt equals rt rather. Yeah, and then if it's just one, it'll look right. Okay, so it's working out the difference. So lt minus rt. No, it's RT minus left, isn't it? That's the actual difference here. Okay, well, it's looking correct. So we'll assume it works until something proves otherwise. Alright, man, I gotta solve my own issues. RO games. So keep at it. I believe in you. Okay, good. Now what all I need to do is we mark that invisible, and with OPlayer, with our code that says this with our save position, we want to do and not tile map get tile map get at pixel. Right, actually, yeah, we need to get the that's an interesting point. We need to get that safety map. That's okay, we can do that when we create this, right? Actually, I'll put it in here as the global, just so that we always have it. Because this will happen before the player, we can make sure of that. Where is Odor again? I thought I would have to get these. Wasn't entirely sure. So mark them safe. That's fine. X, Y is not equal 1. And it's something we can also draw actually in debug, so let's go to draw like a little X. You can see this little X that's on here. Looks weird at the moment because I'm not changing the thingy, but yeah, we can see it sort of stays behind there. Might be a bit hard to see on the stream, but there is a little X there. And if I die, it should appear in the safe spot, which is here. Probably put something in the debug to let me turn on the things. Are those spikes? Oh, that's interesting. Are those spikes still showing dodgy hitboxes there? I don't think I fixed. Yeah, that's not what those spikes should be. No, it actually kind of works like that, but we kind of want them to have a bit more. Slightly more fearsome hitboxes than that. I just want to go look at those other ones and see if they are just as broken. Yeah. Which is important because I just tested that whole jump thing based around that. Which, I don't think it's necessarily bad for the spikes to have somewhat more lenient hitboxes than they look like, but they definitely shouldn't do that. So why is that? Are they using a weird thing for that? They're just those spike tools though, they're not. RS pixel ones. Huh. That's just how those actually are. That's really weird. Let's make them like super massive. Now I just want to try out that's the area down here. We're basically done with the thing they came to stream to do. But I'm just gonna, you know, as an addendum, do some extra stuff. So let's try this out. And then we'll probably call it for today, because it is like 6:30 now. Like, is this actually possible now, or do these spikes need to change? Because I want to get an idea for if I build this kind of thing, how to set it up. Which is hard because my numbers don't necessarily support knowing the exact heights things will get to. That first one works out okay. But is that height is a bit different now. That one's slightly higher, look, we can see. Definitely don't mind it being hard, I just, you know, it's just occurring to me that my previous testing for it was irrelevant because the hitboxes were all balked. That said, I think I want to tighten those hitboxes a little bit more than that. So let's where is, I'm gonna have to look in how I want to do that for the retractable ones as well. Might just be fine working on the bounding box, but we'll see how it goes. We want to minimize the number of transparent pixels to have a thing on it. Something like that. I want to put a retracting one in because I want to see how it works. If I put in a spike here. Oh, why are you on the wrong layer? There we go. Enable group 1, and this is enable group 1, cool. Just realised that's in the wrong spot for me to actually test, but let's just have a look what this is like first. Since I'm here. Yeah, so that still needs moving down, which we'll do first. One here, yeah. That seems right. Really tall corridor, that seems like it would be a fun thing. Oh, Christ. I want to jump into that. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Precise collision checking is quite slow, Kiseki, so I want to avoid doing it wherever possible. Neither Gukan, they're I'm surprised that I might need to add that font. Might need to expand. Because I've expanded the font of a bunch of things in my overlay, but I've clearly not expanded it for the name, so it's cutting off a few of the characters in your name on the overlay. But I'll have to look into that. But it's just using draw rectangle, I think. Just a function that draws black rectangle. Whee! Alright. Let's grab flare. Here, we'll leave the lance in because then that'll just warp to me. I just want to see what this spike looks like. Some of my tutorials have covered parallax stuff. I don't know if I've got one that just covers parallax, but I know it's part of my complete platformer, or at least doing it in a very basic way is. That looks fine. Right, so when I do it with those, the hitbox is the entire sprite, so that might be something I have to look into. If I want to use this with spikes, because I thought, oh, it's actually quite easy. I can just just make the spike inherit from the doors and have them behave like that. But that's gonna make their hitboxes a bit wonky and massive. So there are issues there. I think I was gonna. I started streaming quite late today, unfortunately. I was gonna do some more stuff with what's it? The death animation and stuff itself, and I am gonna do that, but that's probably gonna be off stream now because it's 6 today, and I kind of want. I've got stuff I need to do, unfortunately. Such is life. But I think that's gonna be everything for this particular stream. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with the footage for this one. It's been a bit messy and weird. Whether or not it'll make an okay video I can put up, but we'll see how it goes either way. That's all I really wanted to do today, as is. So thank you all for dropping by on this one. Shall we play piano out? We usually piano out. Let's go. This is like the only time I practice piano now. This is why I'm so bad at it, because like I don't get time to really do it anymore. Unfortunately. It's not really possible to count. I have to like turn the monitor. There we go. It kind of works. Say goodbye to Dragonite. Bye, stream. Let's see. We'll gradually see my ability to play this one song improve over the course of. Well, let's do Song of Storms. I practiced that a little bit. So. Oh, it's hard doing it on this chair. I should actually sit on the actual piano chair. But... God damn it. We can do this. Ah, that bit's so hard. Still needs so much work, man. I am bad at piano, but thank you all for stopping by. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. See you.